What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a preview of some of the biggest changes that we're going to see with the launch of the Final Shape expansion. So if you're wondering how Destiny 2 is going to change between the game we have now and some of the big quality of life updates that we'll see for Final Shape, then we'll recap on adjustments to power leveling, new power caps for the expansion, as well as progression systems, new options to upgrade gear, and some of the ways in which we'll earn new rewards for the Final Shape, but also we'll touch on new rewards themselves, exotic loot, options in the prismatic subclass, and a bunch of other items which are going to be key changes for this upcoming release. So, as always guys, I hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, get subscribed so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content, but without further delay, let's get into it. And so we've had a whole bunch of reveals for the Final Shape. Now, we are only a couple of days away from it dropping. We will touch on new rewards, but there are also some significant quality of life updates coming in the expansion as well. So, starting out, a whole handful of weapons are going to become enhanceable in the Final Shape. Namely, this includes things like the Brave weapons from the Into the Light update, but Bungie have said, in the Final Shape, all new weapons will either be craftable or have access to weapon enhancement, and additionally, weapons that remain active drops in the following activities will be eligible for enhancement. So that will include weapons from the Vow of Disciple and King's Fall, specifically the Adept variants, but also Guardian Games, Gambit, Competitive Crucible, Trials, Iron Banner, Vanguard Ops, Nightfall, and the Prophecy Dungeon weapons. And as Bungie have outlined, Enhancement Tier 1 provides a weapon level as well as a date when we first enhance the weapon. Then for Raid Adepts only, they'll be able to visit the Relic on Mars to adjust their first two columns, like magazines and barrels. Then Enhancement Tier 2 will allow the left column traits to be upgraded to the enhanced version, and Enhanced Tier 3 will allow the right column trait to be upgraded to the enhanced version. So looking at that list of potentially enhanceable weapons there, safe to say it will significantly improve them, so give us your thoughts about that. To speak about power though, Bungie have outlined the power bands for the Final Shape, so the power floor is 1900, with the soft cap being 1940, the powerful cap being 1990, and the hard or pinnacle cap being 2000. So the gear cap itself will be 2000 for the expansion, plus Bungie are introducing account-wide power, and starting in Final Shape, the gear rewards that we earn on any character will drop with a power level relative to the highest power character on our account. So if you level up the power of your hunter, when you switch over to the Titan or Warlock, the gear rewards you earn will be around your hunter's level. The power of rewards will still be affected by the source activity, but it's only a huge positive if you're working on leveling multiple characters. Next up though, let's talk about Pathfinder. And this is a brand new pursuit system in the Final Shape that consolidates bounties, patrols, and weekly vendor challenges into one streamlined system. And we can see the Pathfinder tree right here, which will allow us to pick particular objectives in order to progress all the way to the reward. Plus Bungie have said there will be multiple different paths that we can take, with the Pathfinder featured on 2 different areas of the game, including the Pale Heart destination, and the path completion reward for the first path will include a redacted exotic, as well as a powerful tier 3 engram with Pale Heart gear, a rank of vendor reputation and 25,000 XP. Then we can see the second path will have similar rewards with a focusable Pale Heart engram, plus there'll be a third path and a repeatable path as well, so this will be a slightly more simplistic way of actually making progress in the game. And in the case of the Pale Heart Pathfinder, it's also pretty cool that it will be part of a major exotic weapon pursuit for the Final Shape. But the Pathfinder will apply to ritual vendors as well, like the Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard, dropping rewards of Prime Engrams, Enhancement Prisms, Bright Dust, and XP, as well as some other items. So keep in mind that we'll be replacing ritual bounties, but also some of the weekly objectives will be dropping via this system as well. So that's a pretty major new system for progression in the game. The other component, of course, includes things like the new artifact. And for the Final Shape, it's the Hunter's Journal, which is a pretty cool concept. Bungie have said that the 3 elements in focus for the artifact are Solar, Void, and Arc, plus there is a focus on melee and swords, as well as longer range weapons like sniper rifles. If you do want to see the full list of perks for the artifact, which Bungie have recently revealed, then I'll link that in the description box as there are plenty of them to take a peek at. But of course the artifact itself is actually connected to the Echoes episode, and episodes is the new name for seasons essentially, so there is the new season pass as well as the artifact itself. Both of those things will become available on day 1 of the Final Shape, but for the rest of the episode content, Bungie have outlined that will kick off on June 11th, so that'll be at the first weekly reset after the launch of Final Shape. But speaking of exotic rewards, we now know a whole bunch about different drops that we'll get in the final shape. So Bungie have revealed the return of the Kvostov auto rifle, and every 7th bullet from the weapon deals additional damage and ricochets to nearby targets. Plus, there'll be the Guardian trait, where picking up an orb of power makes the next 7 bullets ricochet. We'll also be seeing the Microcosm heavy trace rifle. Interestingly, this is actually a kinetic weapon, and it will fire a beam of kinetic light, dealing massive bonus damage to shields. And final blows with the weapon will grant super energy, plus the weapon gains bonus damage once your super expires. Then there is the Still Hunt sniper rifle. This is the golden gun sniper, and we can pick up orbs of power or land precision hits to charge the weapon's super bar, before going ahead and firing a golden gun shot. Bungie have also teased that there'll be a new exotic sword in the final shape called Ergo Sum, although we don't know exactly what that weapon will do and we haven't had a preview of it yet. It does, however, appear from early previews that this will be tied to the Pathfinder and progressing on the Pale Heart destination, so that's a pretty cool component. And up next, we also know that the Red Death Pulse Rifle from Destiny 1 will be returning, and it's now called Red Death Reformed, plus it's a solar weapon, and this one's going to be linked to the episode, which of course is the new name for season-style content in Destiny 2, and this will indeed be the Season Pass reward, so it's the first exotic that we're likely to get our hands on as part of the final shape. We've also seen 2 exotic armor pieces per class for the expansion, as well as the introduction of exotic class items, so that makes a total of 3 exotic armor pieces per class. And Bungie have additionally outlined that Master Raoul is going to be the new source for any new exotic armor that's released, so Raoul will get a reputation track and will level up by decoding engrams, until we ultimately reach a new tier of focusing called Engram Insiders. And once that's unlocked, we'll actually be able to focus for new exotic armor pieces, which is interesting. And Bungie have said with a little more than a full stock of exotic engrams, we'll be able to start focusing new armor in the expansion. So curious to see how that's going to work, but for the exotic class items, Bungie have said they will drop as part of a new activity that drops after the World First at the beginning of week 2. They add that this will be a farmable activity and we'll get a guaranteed random roll of the exotic class items each time we complete it. And these exotic class items do of course combine perks from other exotic armor pieces, which will allow us to do some pretty interesting stuff, so let us know if you're looking forward to that. But getting into other quality of life updates, firstly, there is a UI update that we're going to get, so there'll be 2 new areas added to the HUD where modifiers can appear. So firstly, there is critical info in the top center, and that has things like activity modifiers. Then there is the weapon channel, which now appears above the super meter, and subclass and activity related buffs and debuffs will still appear on the left hand side, so Bungie have sort of split them out. Plus, they've took a pass at the readability of various buffs and debuffs with updated icons. Up next though, speaking of updated icons, Bungie have also changed the shader icon for the game, so instead of having 4 areas displayed in the thumbnail, there will now be 6, which gives us a better idea of what the different colors will be inside of the shader. So that of course is one of the more minor updates, but it'll give us a slightly clearer idea of exactly what we're going to get with each shader. Otherwise though, Prismatic is the new subclass component for the final shape, but we're also getting new light supers which actually combine into the Prismatic system, so thanks to Game Informer, there are some infographics for these right here. And each Prismatic subclass will also get a Transcendent Grenade, which can be used once we earn enough energy. So the Warlock gets Freezing Singularity, a combination of Void and Stasis that will slow and suppress enemies before dealing heavy damage. Titans get the Electrified Snare Grenade, a mix of Strand and Arc that detonates into a suspending burst, which suspends enemies and chains Jolt to nearby targets. Then, finally, there is the Hunter, with the Hailfire Spike, which attaches to surfaces or targets for stasis and solar damage, slowing, igniting, and creating Scorch Cyclones. So Prismatic itself looks pretty juicy, and as you can see from the infographics, there are a whole bunch of different abilities from multiple subclasses that will actually be combined to make the Prismatic subclass, so definitely it's mixing things up fairly significantly. And of course there are more details in relation to that, so I'll link some articles down below that go into more depth. Finally though, Hawthorne will see some clan updates, and that does mean that she'll get a reputation track, so Guardians can earn clan reputation by completing activities, with higher difficulty activities giving more progress. And there'll be new clan perks as well which look pretty decent, so at clan level 2 we can get one where raid banners sold from Hawthorne cost less, For level 3, Bountiful Bounties will allow the first clan bounty each week to grant an exotic engram. For rank 4, Raid Rotator challenges will grant Spoils of Conquest, and Trials wins grant additional Trials reputation. And at rank 5, we earn bonus crafted weapon XP by completing ritual playlist activities. And finally for rank 6, completing all clan challenges in a week will grant an Ascendant alloy. So I'd say those new clan perks certainly appear to be more meaningful than what we've had in the past. And so there we go. Outside of the new content, the destination, quests, the story, other legendary rewards, and even sandbox tuning, which again, I'll link some details for down below. These are some of the biggest quality of life updates and new content updates that we'll see for the final shape, so let us know what you're looking forward to most. And if you've enjoyed this final quick preview before the expansion drops, a rating below really does help us out. And to be kept up to date with everything related to the new content, be sure to get subscribed and turn on notifications so that I can keep you posted. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.